Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We will begin the event in about 5 minutes. Thank you for your cooperation. Good morning, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2026 Global Symposium on Open Government. My name is Han Jisoo, Deputy Director at the Ministry of the Interior and Safety. I'm pleased to host today's event under the theme of Designing Trust Through Open Government, Public Governance in the Age of Participation and AI. This symposium has been organized in collaboration with the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, OECD, OECD Korea Policy Center, and Open Government Committee Korea. Through this partnership, we gather today to exchange these insights on how open government can strengthen public trust and help shape the future of public governance in an era of participation in AI. This year marks a significant milestone, the 30th anniversary of Korea's membership in the OECD. Over the past 3 decades, Korea's partnership with the OECD has continued to grow, grounded in shared values of openness, transparency, public trust, and good governance. As we begin today's symposium, we invite you to reflect on this journey and look ahead to the future of open government. Please turn your attention to the screen.
30 years ago, the Republic of Korea made a historic decision. By joining the OECD, Korea embraced more than a new standing in the world. It embraced a deeper commitment to higher standards, shared responsibility, and a better society. Over time, that commitment helped Korea build stronger institutions, broader openness, and deeper public trust. Over 3 decades, Korea has grown not only in strength, but in democratic maturity, public innovation, and global responsibility. Today, that journey continues through open government, more transparent, more participatory, and more responsive to its people. And through digital leadership, in public data, services, and AI, government is becoming more citizen-centered, better able to listen, respond, and serve. On the 30th anniversary of Korea's membership of the OECD, we renew our promise: open government, better policies for better lives, and a future we shape together. Welcome to the 2026 Global Symposium on Open Government, in celebration of the 30th anniversary of Korea's membership of the OECD.
The opening video has reminded us of the meaningful 30-year partnership between Korea and the OECD and their shared commitment and continued efforts toward open and trusted governance. We will now begin today's symposium with opening remarks. It is my great honor to invite Minister Hojung, Ministry of the Interior and Safety, Korea, to deliver his opening remarks. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Hojung, Minister of the Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea. It is my great pleasure to warmly welcome all of you to the Global Symposium on Open Government held in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of Korea's membership to the OECD this year. In particular, I'd like to extend my sincere welcome and appreciation to Ms. Fabrizia Lapecorella, OECD Deputy Secretary General, and Minister Rini Widyantini, State Apparatus and Utilization and Bureaucratic Reform of Indonesia, and Ofa Wichajija, Secretary General of the Office of the Public Sector Development Commission of Thailand. Thank you for being with us. Today, the international community faces a shared challenge of how to restore and strengthen trust in government amid increasingly complex social issues and changing policy environments. And in this context, government transparency, accountability, and trust-based relationship with citizens constitute the core foundation for sustainable democracy and inclusive growth. This year marks a meaningful milestone as it is our 30th anniversary of our membership to the OECD. Over the past several decades, the OECD has played a central role in international policy cooperation by facilitating the sharing of policy experiences among member states and presenting standards for public governance such as transparency, efficiency, and inclusiveness. And in close cooperation with the OECD, Korea has achieved both economic growth and democratic development over the past 30 years. And through this process, the core values of open government, namely transparency and public participation, have served as an important foundation supporting innovation across the state administration. The theme of today's symposium is designing trust through open government, public governance in the age of participation and AI. Open government goes beyond the simple disclosure of information. It's a process of building trust in government based on public participation. And trust in government cannot be built merely through declarations or expressions of intent. Rather, it's firmly established only when citizens' participation is meaningfully reflected in policy making under principles of transparency and accountability. Through various initiatives such as e-People and Idea Box for Citizens, Korea has continuously incorporated citizens' opinions into policy making. And recently, through the AI-based public communication platform, Everyone's Plaza, the government has systematically collected diverse public opinions and reflected them into national policy agenda. These experiences demonstrate that open government goes beyond institutional mechanisms, but that it is a process through which citizens and government build trust together. In addition, Korea has continued to share the values of open government with the international community through cooperation. From October 2020 to December of 2021, Korea served as chair of the Open Government Partnership, OGP, representing 78 member countries. And during that period, we worked with Estonia, France, Italy, Spain, and the US to establish the Open Government Strategy. And in 2021, we hosted the OGP Global Summit in Seoul, where we came together to discuss the future direction of open government. Furthermore, in 2024, right here where we are in this very venue, Korea hosted the 7th OECD Working Party on Open Government and the OECD Open Government International Symposium, and we have continued to take a lead in presenting the future direction of open government. Building upon these experiences, Korea will continue to work closely with the international community, and we will work to promote more transparent and participation-based public governance around the world. I hope that today's symposium will serve as a good opportunity for us to share our experiences and wisdom and to explore together how we can further strengthen trust in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister, for your insightful remarks. Now, let me welcome Deputy Secretary General Fabrizia Lapecorella of the OECD for her opening remarks. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Minister Yoon, ministers present, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a great pleasure to join you today in the beautiful city of Seoul to open this symposium held during the Open Government Week and at a particularly meaningful moment. As we've just heard, this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Republic of Korea's accession to the OECD. It is an important milestone and a great opportunity to celebrate Korea's strong commitment to multilateralism and its remarkable development journey. And also, it is a great opportunity to reflect on the role that governance, institutions, and openness have played in sustaining that success. Over these past 3 decades, Korea has shown that strong institutions and a commitment to reform matter. From rapid economic development to successive waves of administrative and digital modernization, Korea has consistently shown how strong and innovative public governance can support growth, resilience, and social progress. Today, Korea is a global leader in open and digital government and in public sector innovation. It scores first in the OECD Digital Government Index and second in the OECD Open Useful and Reusable Data Index. It is also a key partner of OECD engagement in Asia, a region of high strategic importance for multilateral cooperation. However, as we celebrate these achievements, we remain aware that challenges persist. All OECD countries, including Korea, are navigating a period of rapid and disruptive change. Governments are under growing pressure to respond to environmental risks, aging societies, artificial intelligence, and geopolitical instability. And at the same time, their ability to deliver is often constrained by administrative complexities, fiscal pressures, and institutions and processes that were simply not designed for the rapid and unpredictable changes we face today. The result is a growing gap between what citizens expect and what governments are perceived to deliver. And this growing gap between expectations and perceived delivery is increasingly reflected in levels of public trust. The OECD Trust Survey shows that citizens' trust in institutions is often weakened by relatively low confidence in government's ability to tackle complex and long-term challenges effectively. And this is why the OECD has launched its Government Unstuck Agenda, a multi-pronged initiative that aims at helping governments shift the focus from policy ambition to their practical capacity to act, adapt, and deliver, even in difficult conditions. A central pillar of this agenda is strengthening the relationship between government and citizens. This means incorporating continuous listening, engagement, and feedback into how policies are designed and delivered. It also means recognizing citizens not only as service users or beneficiaries, but also as partners in problem solving. And this matters a good deal. The OECD Trust Survey shows that trust in public institutions is closely linked to whether people feel they have a voice in public decision-making. In Korea, around 4 in 10 Koreans believe that the political systems allows them to have a say in what government does. And this, I should say, is a higher share than the OECD average of 30%. Among these citizens that feel they have a say in what government does, trust in government is more than 3 times higher than among citizens who feel they don't have a voice. Korea's experience with innovative participatory practices shows how the relationship between government and citizens can be strengthened. And later today, you will hear about an OECD case study on the Open Policy Lab developed by Korean institutions to bring diverse perspectives and expertise into key decisions for public sector innovation. The study shows that in a context of increasing complexity, uncertainty, and rapid technological change, governments cannot rely solely on internal expertise or linear policy processes. They need structured ways to listen, mobilize diverse experience, and integrate collective intelligence upstream, that is, while policy choices are still being shaped. Korea's experience shows that involving citizens and stakeholders in a way that is institutionalized and purpose-driven can strengthen policy design, improve implementation, and make public institutions more responsive to people's real needs. And this brings me to the central challenge that today we face and that this symposium is addressing: how to use the principles of open government, transparency, integrity, accountability, and participation to improve government's capacity to deliver on today's pressing priorities. Korea's experience and leadership within the OECD and across the region stand out in this regard. The task ahead is to build on these foundations and continue innovating, learning, and sharing lessons, using new technologies and new forms of collaboration to make governments more effective, more responsive, and more resilient. I look forward to the discussions today, and I wish you a successful and inspiring symposium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary General, for thoughtful remarks. We will now proceed with the keynote speech of today's symposium. It is my pleasure to invite Minister Rini Widyantini, Ministry of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform of Indonesia, to deliver the keynote speech. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you, Excellency Minister Hojung, Minister of the Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, Deputy Secretary General OECD, Ms. Fabrizia Lapecorella, and also the distinguished senior official representative of the OECD, ladies and gentlemen. 안녕하십니까? 저는
Hello, I am Rini Widyantini.
Today, the world is entering a new era of transformations. Artificial intelligence is advancing at the unprecedented pace. Governments are digitalizing rapidly. Then data has become the bedrock of decision-making, and public expectations are evolving faster than ever before. Yet, amidst this sweeping technological shift, there remains one fundamental question that governments worldwide must continuously ask themselves. Are our citizens truly feeling the benefit of this transformation in their everyday lives? Because of the effort of citizens, transformations is never experienced through technical jargon. People do not wake up thinking about interoperability. They do not feel relief simply because a government deploys cloud infrastructure, nor do they automatically trust a state just because it adopts artificial intelligence. People experience government through something far more personal, through moments. The moment a public service becomes seamless during a time of crisis. The moment an elderly citizen no longer feels exhausted navigating bureaucracy. The moment a young job seeker accesses an opportunity instantly because databases are finally connected. The moment a mother in a remote village no longer has to sacrifice her daily income just to travel and process basic administrative documents for her family. These are the moments when government finally feels reachable, human, present. For millions of people, public services are abstract systems. They dictate whether daily life becomes a little lighter or a lot harder, whether a citizen feels included or entirely forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia understands that this challenge deeply. As an archipelagic nation spanning more than 17,000 islands and home over 280 million people, we know firsthand how easily geographical distance can translate into social inequality. This is precisely why digital transformation in Indonesia is not merely an exercise in modernization. It is a matter of justice. It is about ensuring that technology dismantles barriers rather than erecting new ones. Today, Indonesia boasts one of the largest digital populations in the world, with over 229 million internet users, driven by a young and highly connected generations. Yet possessing technology is never enough. For years, Indonesia grappled with fragmented digitalizations. Thousands of isolated systems and applications grew independently across various institutions. Citizens were forced into repeated submit to the same data, shuffle between offices, create dozens of accounts, and navigate disconnected systems just to access a single service. Perhaps this is a paradox many countries face today. We are becoming far more digital, but are we becoming any simpler? Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia believes that the future of governance must be anchored in trust, not just digital trust in technical security, but enduring trust that the government genuinely understands people's realities. To achieve this, we are reinforcing our digital public infrastructure, or DPI, through robust digital identity, integrated digital payments, secure data exchange, streamlined services, and responsible AI adoptions. More importantly, we are ensuring these back-end systems create a tangible, front-facing impact for ordinary citizens. Consider the transformation of Indonesia's social protection delivery. Previously, vulnerable citizens faced exhausting verification processes. Some waited months just to learn if they are qualified for state assistance, spending hard-earned money on transportation just to submit paperwork. They felt invisible within the fragmented bureaucracy. To solve this, we piloted an integrated digital social protection system in Banyuwangi, powered by digital identity and interoperable data exchange. The result breakthroughs were not just technical, they were profoundly human. Eligibility verification that once took between 75 to 200 days can now be completed within minutes or hours. Administrative costs for citizens have plummeted. For thousands of families, this means less stress, less uncertainty, and immediate access to safety net when they need it most. Today, this initiative is scaling across dozens of regions, including Eastern Indonesia, where accessibility challenges are steepest. Citizens who are geographically distant must never be allowed to become digitally invisible. Ladies and gentlemen, the unifying the citizen experience, Indonesia is building INAKU, an integrated portal designed to simplify public service into one connected journey. The philosophy of this philosophy is straightforward: one portal, every service, every Indonesian. Concurrently, we are accelerating the adoption of our national digital identity framework, known as IKD, Identitas Kependudukan Digital or Indonesian Digital ID, which is already connects millions of users on vital public services. At the same time, we are anchoring our cross-agency data-driven services on SPLP or Sistem Penghubung Layanan Pemerintah or Government Service Bus, our national interoperability infrastructure. Beyond citizen-facing portals, Indonesia is strategically referring GovTech. We view GovTech is not merely a collection of digital platforms, but it is an institutional enabler for the whole of the government transformation. It bridges the gap between policy design and execution, enforces institutional interoperability, and accelerates the delivery of citizen-centered services. Ultimately, digital transformation is about more than public convenience. This is about building a state that is transparent, accountable, and inherently trustworthy. Ladies and gentlemen, the world today does not only face a technology challenge, it faces a trust challenge. This is why open government matters now more than ever. Openness reminds us that citizens are not passive consumers of technology. They are active partners and co-creators. Citizens are the ultimate purpose of the transformations. No single nation can navigate this complex transition alone. No single institution holds all the answers. But when nations collaborate openly, learn from another honestly, and place humanity at the center of innovation, transformation becomes deeply meaningful. Our success will not be measured by how sophisticated our algorithms become, but by whether our system make governance smarter and fairer, faster and kinder. I believe true transformation is proven when citizens generally feel that their government is more present in their lives, more responsive to their struggles, and entirely worthy of their trust. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Minister, for your inspiring speech. Before we move on to the next session, we will first invite the head table to the stage for a photo. After that, we will take a group photo with everyone seated. We kindly invite our distinguished guests to proceed on the stage following the guidance of our staff. For our online participants, we kindly ask you to remain connected during the group photo session. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you all for your cooperation. We will now move on to a presentation on the 30th anniversary report highlights, focusing on Korea's public policy case study. To deliver the presentation, I would like to invite David Goessmann, head of the Open Government Unit at the OECD. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Distinguished guests, ministers, high-level representatives from different countries in Southeast Asia and across the globe, thank you very, very much indeed for the warm welcome. It's a great honor to be here today as we mark an important milestone, 30 years since the Republic of Korea joined the OECD. Over the past 3 decades, Korea's journey has been remarkable, not only as a global economic powerhouse, but as a leader in modern public governance, as my Deputy Secretary General also highlighted. Today, Korea stands as a reference point across the OECD and beyond, particularly in how government can become more open, innovative, and citizen-centered. Since its accession, Korea has consistently been at the forefront of governance innovation. This is reflected in a strong performance across OECD benchmarks, from digital government leadership to advanced models of service delivery built around citizens' needs. But beyond performance, what stands out is Korea's approach. It has systematically worked to open up government, creating spaces for citizens, expert, and frontline actors to contribute to public decision makers. This is especially important today. Across the OECD, governments are facing declining trust, growing policy complexity, and a rapid technological change. In this context, no government can effectively govern alone. The ability to draw on collective intelligence, to engage, to listen, and to co-create is becoming essential. It is precisely in this space that Korea has shown leadership. Let me turn to a concrete example, Korea's Open Policy Lab, the OPL, which we analyzed through an OECD case study together with the Korean Institute for Public Administration, the Ministry of Interior and Safety, and our colleagues at the OECD Korea Policy Center, and which is now freely available on the internet. You can download it through a QR code that will be displayed on the screen in a moment. The case study shows that the OPL is not simply another participation mechanism. It is a structured approach to co-creating policy, bringing together policymakers, experts, frontline practitioners, and citizens to work together on complex policy challenges. What makes it particularly powerful is where it intervenes in the policy cycle. Rather than focusing on consultation at the very end, the OPL operates upstream at the stage of problem definition and agenda setting. And as we increasingly observe across OECD countries, this is often where policies succeed or fail. Too often, governments struggle not because of weak implementation, but because problems were not framed correctly in the first place. The OPL addresses exactly this gap. By embedding structured engagement early on, it ensures that policies are grounded in real-world experience from the outset. At the same time, participation in the OPL is not ad hoc. It's methodologically rigorous, supported by facilitation, analytical tools, and evidence. This transforms participation from a symbolic gesture into a genuine policy instrument. Crucially, this approach has also been institutionalized in Korea, supported by the Ministry of the Interior and Safety and facilitated by the Korea Institute of Public Administration. As a result, co-creation is no longer exceptional. It is becoming part of routine policymaking. So what difference does this make in practice? Let me highlight 3 concrete examples which we identified and that illustrate the added value of the OPL. First, artificial intelligence in the public sector. Faced with rapid technological change and uncertainty, Korea used the OPL to bring together policymakers, technologists, and frontline officials Together, they did not just discuss AI, they defined priorities for governance, skills, and responsible deployment. This process led directly to concrete outcomes, including governance frameworks, workforce strategies, and national-level initiatives, such as the appointment of chief AI officers across government. Second, citizen participation systems. Korea identified growing fragmentation across participation platforms. Through the OPL, stakeholders from across government and sectors mapped existing systems and identified bottlenecks. Rather than producing a single technical fix, the result was a comprehensive reform agenda covering institutional design, digital integration, and legal frameworks to co-create a more coherent participation ecosystem. Third, administrative burdens on frontline staff. Here, the OPL placed teachers and social workers at the center of the process. By listening directly to their experiences, it reveals structural pressures that traditional top-down approaches often miss. This is a powerful reminder. Those closest to delivery often see problems most clearly. Across these examples, I think a consistent pattern emerges. The OPL helps governments better understand reality as it is experienced, and in doing so, helps get complex reforms unstuck, as my Deputy Secretary General also said. So what lessons can we draw from Korea's experience? First, engage early. Involving stakeholders and citizens at the agenda-setting stage leads to policies that are more relevant, more implementable, and ultimately more effective. Second, structure matters. In complex areas such as AI or digital transformation, informal consultation is not enough. Governments need rigorous, well-designed participatory processes that combine evidence, deliberation, and iteration. This aligns closely also with the OECD guidelines on citizen participation processes. Third, institutions matter. The success of the OPL is not only methodological, it is institutional. Its role as a stable and neutral intermediary space allows it to bridge silos, convene diverse actors, and build trust. And fourth, start from the ground. Bottom-up problem identification, especially through engagement with frontline actors, leads to more accurate diagnoses and more effective solutions. These lessons resonate very strongly with the OECD's broader work on open government and public sector innovation, and particularly with our Government Unstuck agenda that was highlighted today. So let me conclude. Korea's experience reflects a broader shift in public governance towards a model that is more open, more collaborative, and more adaptive. A model that recognizes a simple but powerful idea that governments do not hold all answers, and they do not need to hold all answers. What matters is their ability to mobilize the collective intelligence of society. The Open Policy Lab embodies this shift. It shows how participation can move beyond consultation and become an integral part of how policies are designed. As OECD members navigate growing complexity, uncertainty, and rising citizen expectation, Korea offers a practical and transferable model for embedding open governance into everyday policymaking. Looking ahead, the OECD will continue to benefit from Korea's leadership, experience, and commitment to build more inclusive, effective, and resilient public institutions. Thank you very much, and very much looking forward to the discussions today.
Thank you, Mr. Goessmann, for your insightful presentation. And we will now take a short moment to prepare the stage for our high-level panel session. While stage is being set, we kindly ask all participants to remain seated. Thank you for your patience. high-level panel session. In this session, our moderator and panelists will share their insights on the present and future of public governance in the age of participation in AI. We are pleased to introduce our moderator for this session, Professor Choi Youngmi from Jeonnam National University and member of the Open Government Committee Korea. Professor Choi, the floor is yours.
Distinguished guests, excellencies, and colleagues, welcome to the 2026 Global Symposium on Open Government here in Seoul. I'm Youngmi, as introduced, a member of Open Government Committee under the Ministry of Interior and Safety of Korea. It's my pleasure to moderate today's high-level panel session. And as we commemorate the 30th anniversary of Korea's membership in Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, today we are just gathering to discuss today's theme, designing, as you guys can see now, there is no title, designing trust through open government, public governance in the age of participation in artificial intelligence, AI, reminds us that transparency, participation, and accountability are becoming more important in the era of rapid technological change. We are very fortunate to be joined by outstanding group of speakers. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker with a warm round of applause when I introduce each speaker. First, we have Mr. Byung-chul Lee, Acting Deputy Minister for Governance, Innovation, and Government Organization Office at the Ministry of Interior and Safety of Korea. Thank you. We are also joined by Mr. David Goessmann, Acting Head of the Open Governance Unit at the OECD. Next, we have Mr. Tae-ung Park, Chair of the Public Sector AI Transformation Subcommittee under Presidential Council on National Artificial Intelligence Strategy of Korea, so long. Next, we have Ms. Onpa Wechachiwa, Secretary General of Office of the Public Sector Development and Commission of Kingdom of Thailand. Before we officially begin, let me briefly explain the format of today's session. Reflecting today's theme, the discussion will consist of 2 rounds. In the first round, the achievement and experience, we're going to discuss about the government international organization have made in advancing open government and public trust. And in the second session, future design, we will explore how we can shape the future of public governance amid the rapid technological and societal changes. In each round, each of our 4 speakers will be asked 1 question, so total in 2 questions from 2 rounds. Our speakers will have only 3 minutes, which is really short, but I would be so happy to allow the additional minutes if needed. And when your 3 minutes are up, I will hold up these cards, which is a little fancy, okay, as a reminder, but not a push at all. And I will ask the questions in the order in which I introduce our speakers. So I'm going to with Mr. Lee first, and my last question is going to Ms. Wechachiwa. Next, regarding languages, I will ask the questions in Korean to our Korean participants and in English to our international participants. Since we have all interpretation available, I believe that this format will work smoothly for everyone. Now we're ready to begin the first round. I believe that the speakers a little get nervous, but you don't have to. For the first question, I would like to begin with Mr. Lee. So the question in Korean is, 이 국장님께서는
So, Mr. Lee, you are one of the most authoritative practitioners in this field. Now, Korea has various platforms for citizen participation and is being assessed for its good work in expanding participation. Now, in that sphere, can you share with us some key examples and also share with us why you were able to succeed? Well, good morning, first of all. I am Byung-chul Lee, and currently in the Korean government, I'm in charge of the participation part, and it's really good to meet all of you. Now, as you all know, Korea has advanced IT technology, and from the early 2000s, I think it was, we have done a lot of online platforms to take care of administrative work. And through that, civil servants on such systems and networks, even if you are in the local government, you are able to take care of your paperwork online through a central system. Also, the citizens are able to put forth proposals and also take care of their various issues through a Communication 24 platform, Everyone's Plaza platform, and citizens' proposal systems, and so forth. Now, initially, there was a lot of opinions and proposals that were collected to improve the system itself. That was in the initial stages. And most of it was focused on enhancing the convenience of the citizens in terms of bureaucracy. And also we had a system for people's opinions and grievances, and we had 10 million or so complaints that were sent in each year. But recently, there is a higher demand for people wanting to take part in government. And so we are introducing more platforms to do this more actively. And also, there was a incident in Korea where we were deciding whether we wanted to build another nuclear power plant or not. That was in 2010. And we gathered a lot of opinions online, and ultimately, we decided not to build a new nuclear power plant. Also, opinions have been collected. I think it was in 2018, if I am correct. There were some citizen opinions that were collected, and there was a lot of collaboration on the government, on the college entrance exams, and also in the local government stage. Whenever there is an issue such as whether we will be building a new rail station or not, we are making decisions based on such collection and collaboration with the consultation with the citizens. So there are numerous such cases, and the central government and local governments will also come up with more initiatives down the road.
Thank you for Mr. Lee, especially highlighting, because I realized that the government just getting over 10 million civil complaints, but the government just trying to solve this all problems by developing 소통 24 or 국민신문고, something like that. And building on these examples, I'd like to invite Mr. Goessmann for more, broader perspectives from OECD. So my question is, what common features are emerging in OECD member countries' open government policy aimed at strengthening public trust? And the following question is, what implications can be drawn from the Korean case?
Thank you very much for this excellent question. And again, it's a real pleasure to be here. I think one key insight from OECD data is that trust increases significantly when citizens feel they have a say in public decision making. In fact, by over 40 percentage points compared to those who do not. So this shows that open government is not only a democratic principle, but also a core driver of trust in public institutions. Across OECD countries, we are seeing a number of common trends emerging, and let me just highlight a few of them. maybe first on transparency and access to information. We know that most countries have access to information laws in place. However, the focus is very much shifting. There is no longer about simply where information is available, but whether it is actually accessible, understandable, and useful in practice. So in other words, transparency on its own is no longer enough. It needs to lead to meaningful outcomes. Second, on participation, we've seen a clear expansion of participatory practices across OECD countries, but in many cases, participation is still very much ad hoc and happens too late in the policy cycle. So increasingly, countries are focusing on involving citizens early on and in a more meaningful way. Third, there is a growing attention to civic space as a foundation for open government, and countries are placing more emphasis on protecting fundamental freedoms and rights, because without them, participation cannot function in practice. And maybe just fourth, public communication is becoming a core policy tool. Governments are no longer using communication only as a way to inform citizens, but very much also to better understand public concerns and listen to citizens. So I think in this context, Korea provides a very strong example. First, it shows how these elements can be integrated into a coherent system where transparency, participation, and innovation are not treated separately, but are embedded across policy design, digital government, and service delivery. Second, Korea also demonstrates how participation can be scaled and institutionalized. Rather than relying on one-off initiatives, engagement is increasingly embedded in regular policymaking processes and supported by structured methods, as we also saw in the case study of the Open Policy Lab. And third, Korea highlights the importance of responsiveness and delivery. So trust is not built by participation alone, of course, but by showing that citizens' input ultimately leads to tangible improvements in policies and service. And I think in that sense, Korea is not only advancing open government principles, it's really very much putting them in practice and at scale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goessmann, by highlighting, but it was so impressive. Transparency is not alone sufficient. We need more meaningful combinations of civic space and responsiveness and the whole of government approaches, something like that. Good. And building on that discussion, I'd like to now turn to Mr. Tae-Woong Park to explore how AI and digital technologies are reshaping public governance and civil participation. So the question in Korean is, 박 본과장님께서
So, Mr. Park, you also are you're one of the most authoritative figures in this field, and with more AI-driven administration, there are demands for more transparency and accountability, and I think this is something that we are seeing more in Korea. Now, from the perspective of open government, what policies is the Korean government prioritizing to implement trustworthy AI governance?
정보를 대단히 많이 칭찬하셨지만 저희는 아직도 굉장히 배가 고픕니다.
Mr. Goessmann complimented our efforts, but we still believe there is a lot more that we can do. The Korean government is pursuing an AI native government. That is to say that we are trying to do away with the silos, and we want to make sure that there are no barriers and that there is an integrated system. Now, this is not certainly unique to Korea, but such fragmentation can lead to secrecy, bureaucratic self-interest, and a lack of transparency. So, moving towards AI native government means that the decision-making process itself will be more transparent, and it will also lead to traceability and evidence-based policymaking. Second, we want to expand the structural openness of public data. We're promoting the opening of high-value public data such as court judgments and real estate registries. AI grows on consuming data, and our principle is that all data should be fair, that is, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, and that open APIs and open MCPs should be provided wherever possible. And through this, transparency, accountability, and stakeholder participation can all be guaranteed. And this enables us to secure not only transparency, but also transparency of rationale as well. And at the same time, Korea is building on AI-based public service platforms. We are promoting various models so that we can provide more personalized and customized administration. So any stakeholder will be able to receive appropriate explanations based on evidence. So in summary, Korea is not aiming to become a government that merely adopts AI, but a government redesigning on the basis of AI. We are opening data, pursuing transparency not only in results, but of reasoning and clarifying government structures. So we want to disclose most of our data, almost all of our data, so that we can reform our legal systems accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for emphasizing AI, the trustworthy governance requires not only technological innovation, but also institutional transparency. So we have to remove selfish incentives and real actions of each ministry just taking care about their interest. So we shouldn't do that anymore. So it was a so meaningful point. Building on that point, I would like to invite Ms. Wechachiwa to share Thailand experience in promoting public trust through participation and digital innovation. So, Ms. Wechachiwa, Thailand has actively pursued public service innovation and expanded civil participation recently. Could you share a policy example that has effectively enhanced public trust through participation and transparency? And if you possible, what kind of factors was the determinant for this success?
Thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Ministry of Interior and Safety, OECD KPC, and the Open Government Committee for organizing this event and allow me to give an opportunity to share Thai experience on this matter. First of all, I think in Thailand, I would answer your last question first, that the key success, I think, is on the policy, on the strategy, because in Thailand we have the public sector development strategy, which is like a 5-year plan, and we're rolling every year. And in this plan, we have 2 strategies since 2020 that's focused on digital government and open government. And this is a key strategy to build trust and build participation in our ecosystem. Because this digital government and open government is kind of interconnect, is complement each other. And to drive on the digital government policy, we focus on the e-services and data. And we have many e-services and the same experience as Indonesia. Right now, we have done very, very good on e-services. When our ranking score in EGDI of the UN is, spiking up very fast from 70-something to 50-something. But still, right now we have millions, like myriad of applications, and I try to put it together in the central platform right now. And we have like around 3,000 services, e-services, and right now we have around 1,000 in the central platform. And we try to finish it within 2 years. On the aspect of data, we focus on data sharing and open data to the public. On data sharing, we have the platform called Government Digital Exchange, Government Data Exchange, GDX. And let me give one example, very interesting. We share the corporate registration data in this platform, the 22 agency. And this is create like 9 million transactions a year and can create cost saving of business and people around 7.1 billion baht a year. It's not only economic positive result, but in terms of sustainability too, we can reduce the cutting down of 2,000 trees in a year by only sharing data. Yeah. And on open government, open data, we also have like a open platform to to share data to our people. And we have on open government, we have the platform to let the people voice their view and opinion to the government. We have like for example, the Bangkok Metropolitan have used the Traffic Fondue, which is like a platform to listen for their people, and we have like 1,000 cases a day. And the user in Bangkok is around 500,000. And this is show like a good result of using digital to complement open government.
Thank you, Ms. Wenchajwa. And I love the point. I totally agree with the point that there is a high connection between digital government and open government. And Thailand has achieved a unique usable platform by developing the unique platforms to everyone. And today, the round one discussion, we have seen that while the specific ways for public trust and open government may differ a little bit across countries, but we definitely share the common things as well. The public trust can be strengthened when the government continue transparency, meaningful citizen participation, and digital innovation and responsible governance. So I'm really happy all our speakers really well time management. So let us move on to round two, future design. So the first question is going back to Mr. Lee. 이 국장님의 첫 번째 말씀과
So, on top of what you mentioned in the first round, I want to ask about the policies, the participation policies of the current government. Many people praise the achievements that you have made, but there is also criticism that this civil participation is just formalistic. In order to create truly tangible participation or meaningful participation that influences policy, what areas do you believe need the most improvement? Well, firstly, I think I need to touch upon Korea's democracy, first of all. As you are well aware, Koreans have a very strong desire towards building democracy. We also have a high demand to take part in government. However, and because of that, I think that the government responds very fast, perhaps the fastest in the world. Not only that, but Korean citizens are the most educated, and we have the highest smartphone penetration rate, which makes everything a lot easier and more convenient when it comes to access. Like I said, from the early 2000s, we have developed and built many platforms on which people can take part in government. But also, as you mentioned, there is some room for improvement. So if I mention some of the future tasks, I think Mr. Park also mentioned this in his response, but we want to actively introduce AI, including generative AI like ChatGPT and Gemini, and incorporate that into our digital platforms. Through that, we want to be able to make our processes more efficient to these citizens, and also it will help the civil servants that go through the questions and complaints and respond. We also want to expand more room for our citizens to take part in consultation. Now, in the past, most of this consultation was done at the table with civil servants, but we want to expand this further so that more citizens can take part in the actual decision-making processes. We also want to make it a scientific or data-based, evidence-based decision-making and collaborative process. And if we are able to do that, just as K-pop and K-dramas have made a Korean wave, I think that democracy can become a keyword.
It was so interesting. We can develop our K democracy. I hope so as well. And the second question, going back to the Mr. Goessmann. Question is, given that government trust is a highly abstract concept, in other words, the definition is really various, it's kind of hard to develop just one definition for government trust. How does the OECD measure it in practice? And how is it translated into policy actions? And the following question is, what implications does this have for digitally advanced countries such as South Korea?
Thank you very much for the question, and thank you for introducing the concept of K-democracy. Very interesting, and very much looking forward to seeing how this advances. So in response to your question, at the OECD we approach trust in a structured and very practical way. So we first break it down into two core dimensions, competence and value, where competence refers to the ability of government to deliver effective policies and services, and values relate to how government exercises power, including openness, integrity, and fairness. This allows us to move from very abstract concept of trust to something that is much more concrete and measurable. Second, these dimensions are also translated into specific drivers of trust, such as responsiveness, reliability, openness, integrity, fairness, voice, etc. So this helps us understand not just the level of trust, but also the reasons behind it. What does the data concretely tell us? And the new report will come out next month, so there will be more updated data. First, it tells us that trust remains relatively low across OECD countries. On average, only about 39% of people report high or moderately high trust in their national governments, which points to a persistent gap. Second, and I've said that before, having voice is a key factor. Only about 30% of people feel like they have a say in what government does. Third, perceptions of decision-makings also matter. Only around 1/3 of citizens believe that government base their decisions on the best available evidence, which highlights the importance of both transparency and inclusiveness also. This approach really very much allows to translate trust into concrete policy actions. And for digitally advanced countries such as Korea, I think there are several important implications. First is that strong digital performance does not automatically translate into trust. Digital tools can improve, of course, service delivery and enable participation, but what matters is whether they actually make governments more responsive, inclusive, and open to citizens' input. Second, there is a shifting focus from access to influence. Many governments already provide access to information and opportunities to participate, but here the key question is whether citizens can see how their input actually influences public decisions and leads to concrete outcomes. And third, new technologies, particularly AI, introduce new trust challenges. So ensuring transparency, accountability, and safeguards will be essential to maintain trust as these tools are adopted. So ultimately for us, trust is not just an abstract objective. It's something that governments can measure, that governments can manage and strengthen through concrete policies and practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goessmann. And both speakers, Mr. Lee and Mr. Goessmann, just to point out the OECD members now, it's time we have to focus on the qualitative growth because we have a certain level of quantitative growth as well, right? So the next question is going to Mr. Park. And 향후 AI가 정책
Now, as AI will directly influence policymaking in the future, how should we make sure that the open government principles such as participation and transparency are applied to AI systems? Okay, let me address these one by one. Mr. Lee mentioned K-democracy, so I think I can keep this short. Now, above all, Korea is a nation of collective intelligence. Time and again, we have overcome countless crises by gathering our wisdom. And we even joke amongst ourselves that overcoming national crises is a national hobby. Now, AI in the aspect of participation is very important because it ensures participation not only for civil officials, but also to the private sector as well. And the starting point was the establishment of the Presidential National Strategy Committee, which composes civil servants as well as civilian experts. And we have two different subcommittees on one dedicated to democratic governance and one on social issues. And these bodies are responsible for institutionally ensuring civil participation and for building what we call an AI basic society. And also, in transparency, the Korean government is pursuing what we call an indigenous foundation model, which is to achieve our sovereign AI. And what we need to make sure is that we implement explainability and accountability in our AI. And that's why we want to pursue sovereign AI, so that we can fully implement explainability and accountability, so that even when we rely on external foundation models, this enables us to maintain that there is that explainability. So we are designing our public AI platform that it will naturally include systems for public AI model logs and data, managing versions and auditing algorithms. And accountability. In terms of accountability, what we need is structured accountability. So responsibility must be distributed across different layers, policy design responsibility, model responsibility, and so forth. And we are therefore in the process of developing related guidelines and legislation. And governance now must evolve beyond the level of individual ministries towards a more nation-level operating system. So in no circumstance should someone say the algorithm did it or the AI did it. So in conclusion, we're building a government redesigned on the basis of AI, and we aim to create a government that's more transparent with no bureaucratical silos, operated rationally on the basis of data, and capable of guaranteeing real-time citizen participation. Of course, this is extremely difficult.
Thank you, Mr. Park. And it was really impressive and a meaningful point. We have to develop the monitoring system for AI algorithm, because sometimes we believe that we are just dominated by AI algorithm, because according to the AI algorithm, we are just watching the news algorithm just presenting us, right? So we have to dominate the algorithm in which ways, or we are just getting free from the algorithm dominance, right? So the last question is going to Ms. Wechachua. Ms. Wechachua, across Asian countries, digital transformation and AI adoption are advancing rapidly. In this context, what is the most important factor for countries to prioritize in cooperation to build trust-based open government system?
Thank you. I think when we talk about trust, we have to understand that trust is not only about AI or digital, because trust is built in human heart and mind. This is the principle. And this trust can originate from connection between government and their citizen. That connection and communication, it can be better by digital and AI. But the essence and context in the communication and connection is vital. So for AI, it can make this connection more speedy, wider, and easily we can improve our service delivery. For example, like in Thailand, we got the award from UNPSA on the AI for pandemic monitoring and response COVID-19. It can improve some service, right? But in terms of the essence, that on the context of in the connection and communication from the government to citizen is very important. Not only service, but the real feeling of openness and fairness is very important. And by using AI, I would like to say that AI needs a lot of data. But lately in Thailand, I just implement a survey every year on citizen satisfaction. And we find that since we developed that digital services or e-service, the level of satisfaction keep increasing until last year. It started to drop. And the most problem is most people, they feel skeptic and worry about how we handle their data, their personal data, about data privacy. And we see that, AI need a lot of data to be more, smart and usable. And how we can, take care of data. So this comes to data governance principle. And also for AI, there's a lot of risk like hallucination that can destroy trust. So how can we cope with this hallucination with human in the loop in the deliver service or implementation? How we create accountability by address the clear responsibility when AI making errors, and how we improve our cybersecurity when in the same day, most of talent in cybersecurity, they don't want to work with the government, they work with a big tech company. How can we catch up with this? I think this is kind of a challenge, and we have to address more on this kind of thing.
Thank you, Ms. Wechachwa. And Wechachwa actually point really similar things with Mr. Park. Data openness and technological development make our lives so convenient, but there is the things we have to worry about. What kind of data we have to make open to the general public, something like that, right? So we actually finished the 2 rounds already because the speakers really well time management. And we, in summary, drawing the points from all speakers, we can summarize our conference as we, as the member of the OECD, actually achieve certain level of quantitative growth in public trust, open government, and AI governance as well. But we still do our qualitative growth. In other words, we still have a lot of homework, right? So I believe that just 1 hour just given to us as scheduled, but now because of the speaker's well-time management, we can open the questions to the floor. So any questions from the floor, you can ask the question directly to each speakers, as well as just ask the general questions to everyone. Please raise your hand if you have any questions or some reflection or thoughts. Can you give the mic to the guest?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Agi from Indonesian government, and I have a question to my colleague from Thailand. So, Madam already explained a lot how Thailand progress on digital transformation so far, and then you already mentioned that within this your administration, you want to make kind of simplification regarding the services, and you try your best with your team to simplify all the services into one integrated portal or citizen portal. Regarding that strategy, is there any challenge or how to make the all the institution or offices in your country could contribute to achieve the goals? And also regarding the data that you already mentioned, you already have the interoperability platform to make the integration within your department regarding data sharing and so on, and how about the strategy to make it happen as well for that thing, because it's really nice to share with our here, and especially to make the best practices for Indonesian point of view as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I think your question is very interesting and very hard to explain within a few minutes, because we have done a lot of things to promote the connection to put those different services on the one platform. But I would say that the central platform actually we developed before COVID period, before the pandemic. We already had a central platform. We have two central platforms. The first one is for business, for license application, permit application. Another platform is for citizen and individual. They can apply for driver license, stuff like that. And we have these two kind of platform, and we try to gather those different satellite services into this platform. And in fact, this platform connected, in the back door. And in the future, we will conclude it in only one platform. So we have a clear plan on this kind of thing. But the most of the problem comes to the implementation. First of all, we have a problem with the duplication of services among ministry, even inside their own ministry and own department or across ministry. So when we get these services into one platform, we had to look at the duplication and how to make it seamless. The second one is like UX UI, because these different services have different UX UI, and that's make people may feel dizzy in the beginning to use this one. So we have to clear this kind of technical problem. And another problem on this one is about the budget. I have to ask the additional budget, not the formal budget, from the cabinet to run on this. And if the cabinet agree on this, it will be possible. But in Thailand, during the last year, we have 3 governments in the same year. So the budget process is quite slow. That's hinder the pace of connecting this service into the central platform. I think the last one is about the KPI, key performance indicator that my office is holding. And we put the KPI as the tools to motivate the agency to connect to this central platform, as well as we also have the award, like a public service award every year to promote. So I think this kind of motivation is very like an incentive for them to eagerly implement this policy.
Good. Any other questions from the floor? Yes. Okay, so we are going to get one question because we don't have time. So can you get the mic to the person?
가져다 주세요.
예, 대한민국 열린정.
Yes, hello. I am Park Young-shin, professor at Korea University Law School, member of the Open Government Committee Korea. Now, in open government, one very important task is building trust. And of course, and also, I am a part of the anti-corruption working group. And one of our aims is to bring about juridical justice and using open government to meet that goal. And to do that, we need, first of all, the disclosure of court judgments. However, because of various reasons, the courts are not opening up their database, which includes these rulings. And another example would be the Ministry of Land and Transport. They have the rail service, which is an affiliate of the ministry, and they have train running schedules. And if they provide that schedule in the form of APIs, then general citizens, users, would be greatly benefited because it would be extremely convenient, but they are refusing to do so.
All the guests from other countries is that even if your ministry wants to realize the goals of open government, other ministries may not follow your lead. How do you resolve that? I know that I'm asking question to the foreign guest because I know how it has not been well achieved in Korea. So just wanted to hear from other governments and also wanted to hear from OECD as well how to resolve the intergovernmental cooperation.
How about Mr. Goessmann? Can answer the question. Do you understand the question, sis? Okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for the question. It's of course a complex one, and one that Korea is not the only country that struggles with. I think this is a shared challenge across OECD member and partner countries, and something we frequently hear when we engage with our members and partners. There are some interesting experiences, I think, and approaches on how to approach or how to solve this issue. One, I think, is work very consistently with civil society. Civil society is a trusted partner, and civil society can often help make bridges between different government departments. So mechanisms like the open government committees, the multi-stakeholder forums, can be very instrumental in convincing different parts of government of the usefulness of, for example, disclosing data as you were suggesting. Another example that we've seen in a number of countries is being very forthcoming in communicating also about the positive impacts, because often disclosure of information involving citizens in policy making is associated with certain fears also in public officials of opening up to scrutiny from external actors. So showing the positive impacts that this can have in the long run and communicating proactively about the benefits of opening up can be part of the solution. So I'll leave it here, and also happy to hear views of other colleagues.
Okay, I mean, in case of Thailand, I think the most important thing that we have done is try to make it example for other agencies to realize what is the benefit of open government. Yeah, because as I mentioned earlier about trust is in building human heart and mind. Openness too is the same. If the government doesn't feel like they want to open for people or their people, it won't happen. But how can make this happen? They should see some example, or we should build some ecosystem to make them feel they want to empathize their citizen. And I have implemented one project on how to reduce waste in the Gulf of Thailand, because the waste in Gulf of Thailand come from 5 mainstream rivers in Thailand. And I know that if we rely on only government agency to solve this problem, it could be forever. So I asked the private sector, the big company, like 5 companies, to taking care of each river. But I told them that I don't want to ask for money. I ask for collaboration. I want their idea how to solve this. And we set like a working task group to work on each river. And at first, the line ministry who taking care, line department are taking care of this mission, they don't agree. They don't want the private sector to, hands-on on their job. But I said, we should try. This is a new way of, implement the new public administration. And when they meet each other and work together on, survey on the problem on each river, they sat on the same boat and use the same drone and to see all those data together. They start to empathize each other. Those from private sector said that, oh, Thai broadcast is very complex. There's so many players in one area. And they start to understand limitation of us. And at the same time, those government agencies in that department start to understand how private sector think and how they solve the problem. This kind of learning together. And they try now they understand that to hearing opinion and open for collaboration from, private sector and NGO is beneficial. This is the first case, and we're still running this kind of case in, solving many problems like, Wi-Fi in the north part, and to decrease PM 2.5 and increase the carbon emission to achieve the goal of net zero. We use this kind of open government project together. Yeah.
Mr. Goessmann and Ms. Wichachwa actually point out this really similar things. Private sector and civil society needs to make meaningful check and balance to bureaucratic government, right? So we actually make really meaningful and constructive discussion at this panel, but I believe that we have to conclude here because of the time constraint, but we can keep going after this session. So thank you very much for being effective guests and distinguished speakers. Thank you very much.
That concludes our high-level panel session. Please give another big round of applause to our moderator and panelists. This brings us to the end of today's main sessions. We will now prepare the stage for the final part of the symposium. We kindly ask everyone to remain seated for a brief moment while the stage is being set. Thank you. Now, to conclude today's symposium, we will have closing remarks from the OECD Korea Policy Center, one of the key organizing partners of this symposium. As a brief introduction, established in 2008 by the OECD and the government of the Republic of Korea, the OECD Korea Policy Center has served as an important bridge for policy dialogue and cooperation across the Asia-Pacific region. To deliver the closing remarks, please welcome Lee Ryunju, Executive Secretary of the Korea Policy Center. Let's give him a warm round of applause.
예, 안녕하십니까?
Hello, everyone. I am Executive Secretary of the OECD Korea Policy Center, Yeonju Lee. Now, we have come to the end of the symposium, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the OECD Secretariat, as well as the Ministry of Interior and Safety and the Open Government Committee. Now, today, we were able to share the experiences and insights of each country surrounding open government and public governance in the era of AI. Now, we are seeing such rapid technological change led by AI, and this is changing our social structure and our everyday lives. However, despite such change, the core of public governance remains the same, which is that we should work towards the benefit of our people. What should we do to become a more transparent and democratic and trustworthy government? This is a question that we have all asked ourselves, and this is also a fundamental question at the core of open government. Therefore, I believe that this symposium is extremely meaningful, as it was being held to commemorate our 30th anniversary of our membership into the OECD. Now, 30 years ago, the Republic of Korea knocked on the door of OECD as it wanted to go out into the wider world. And as we started off, or while we started off as a country that learned advanced standards, we have now grown into a lead country in public governance, accumulating a lot of experience and know-how. And the OECD Korea Policy Center that was established jointly by the OECD and our government has, during the past 20 years, conducted 2,400 or so programs, through which we have met with more than 16,000 civil servants in Asia Pacific, and we have driven tangible policy change. We will continue to make sure that such countries in the region will be able to enhance the quality of life in their countries, and we will provide all of the support that we can. I hope that the opinions that have been shared today amongst you will lead to tangible policy outcomes. And also, I hope that the networks that you built today will continue to be important foundations for future cooperation. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Deputy Secretary General, as well as the Minister of Interior and Safety and the Minister of State Apparatus and Utilization of Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Executive Secretary, for your thoughtful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, this officially concludes the 2026 Global Symposium on Open Government. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to all our speakers, moderator, panelists, and participants for joining us today. We hope today's discussions have provided valuable insights and will contribute to continued dialogue and cooperation on open government. We thank you once again.
you.